So Anousith Mekaroun is playing mono red burn, the type of deck that one Mr. Patrick Sullivan is well known for. He has one main deck Ensnaring Bridge, which will likely not be relevant, although could be depending on how this matchup goes. It's pretty much going to be a race.
Oh wow, this is very Patrick here. Patrick would appreciate these white mountains, these white bordered mountains. He's going to play a Rift Bolt and pass the turn back. Wilkerson, again, he's on Omnitel. He's going to be trying to kill very, very quickly here. He's going to start for the Ponder. In the burn deck, this is two ships passing in the night. Yes. I'm going to try to kill you, and you're going to try to kill me as fast as you can.
Completely different game plans going forward for both of these decks. Anousith is a combo deck that tries to cast 6 spells over the course of the game.
Yeah.
Tyler Wilkerson, who, as we've mentioned many times, is having quite the weekend.
Yeah.
He's laughing at the Rift Bolt that he's staring down, knowing exactly how he's either going to die or kill with.
Or win.
Right.
He's not scared of
I'll either be at 2
bolt.
or I'll be at 0.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he's going to decide to shuffle away the Ponder on turn 1.
You see the trophy there in the screen. He's our standard champion. He won earlier with Mono Blue Devotion. He just likes islands, I guess, because he's got a whole bunch of them in this deck, too. And, to be fair, islands are a pretty safe way to go if you care about winning.
Island is probably one of the top 10 lands ever printed in Magic.
Bold.
It's probably almost as good as Underground Sea.
Bold. I like the boldness of your claim. It's arguable.
It's significantly better than Forest. And I would
rather have that island that is in play than Underground Sea.
The foil unhinged island?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
It is my favorite artwork of the island, and it looks beautiful.
Bolt, meanwhile, becomes unsuspended. Tyler falls to 17. Tyler has 3 fetch lands in his hand, and so that will represent a 20th of his life total as well, as Chain Lightning #1 and Grim Lavamancer come down for Anousith.
Light him up.
That's right.
Burn him down.
So Tyler's probably going to use a fetch land in concert with this Brainstorm that he's casting. He finds a bunch of his combo pieces here.
I mean, obviously, all he's looking for now is Show and Tell. The tough thing here, actually, all kidding aside, is that Show and Tell actually needs to be found pretty quickly because the burn deck does go fast. It's not like a really slow deck. It can kill you in 4 turns.
Yes. Now, he does also find Dream Halls, which in a pinch can be cast off of the City of Traders that he has in his hand.
Yes.
So he can theoretically just go off with Dream Halls.
Yep.
And Tyler is going to play out that fetch land that we were referencing. Anousith has about 3 cards left in his hand, one of which is Sulfuric Vortex, which very good against a lot of the decks in the field. Not great in this matchup. Probably going to be a char at best if it comes down.
Slow char, though.
A slow char. A char with delay.
Yeah.
As Lightning Bolt from Anousith drops Tyler to 10, and then he's going to lose another life, I believe. Or does the fetch land put him to 10?
So it's 3 burn spells so far. Rift Bolt, Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt, and then the fetch land. So he's at 10. Potential to go down to 8 here because of Grim Lavamancer.
Yep. And as you say, Tyler does need to try to find a Show and Tell because a turn 4 Dream Halls probably isn't going to be quick enough.
Yeah, it might be too slow. It depends on what, Mekaroun does draw for the turn. But he's got a Lavamancer, so, basically he's at 8 right now. Whenever you beat a combo deck with a burn deck, when it's a pure race, it always revolves around either Price of Progress or Fire Blast. Obviously, Price of Progress is blank, but Fire Blast is going to be key to drawing. You see a Cunning Wish drawn for the turn for Tyler.
Yep. And no Lotus Petals in sight either in this entire deck. That's one of the main differences between the Omnitel and the Sneak and Show varieties of Show and Tell decks. No way to cheat another land into play for Tyler Wilkerson. He's stuck with just those islands and those soul lands. He only has 4 total, actually. 3 City of Traders and 1 Ancient Tomb.
And he doesn't want anything to do with Ancient Tomb. And he does have a taxi purpose. And you see him reaching for his sideboard, confirming with the judge, can I go through this during gameplay? That was a rule that was changed. You can look at your sideboard during a game.
Absolutely. And the cards that he's looking at are for his Cunning Wish package. He has 9 possible targets. And I think he's just making sure that he can go get, for example, Echoing Truth to be able to bounce either a Sulfuric Vortex or maybe even this Grim Lavamancer to try to slow people down. But he's going to lead off with Gitaxian Pro paying the blue mana and not the life.
Yeah, don't want to pay the life. Oof, Price of Progress in the correct. You see?
Yep. Price of Progress, not the best in this particular matchup, as we also see Sulfuric Vortex two cards that are not going to have a huge impact on this game, although Tyler is at 10. Anousith has a lot of live draws, possibly the best of which might be Goblin Guide.
Yeah, that's certainly a good start. The tough part here, obviously, is that he's at 8. It's going to be some work to get him down to 6. That means that Wilkerson's going to get 2 or 3 more turns to find and assemble his combo. And as you mentioned, Goblin Guide's like the best draw, and that second Sulfuric Vortex is anything but.
Yep, not going to do it. If he had found a land there, especially a fetch land, it would have been very good. But unfortunately, he's not going to be able to not only put another card in his graveyard right now to be able to activate that Grim Lavamancer, but also not be able to deal Tyler any damage. Tyler is going to have the window to cast that turn 4 Dream Halls, as I mentioned.
I suspect we're going to see an end of turn Price of Progress here.
Oh, I would imagine so, assuming Anousith isn't immediately dead by being covered in ants.
Yes.
We would certainly see an end of turn Price of Progress for no damage.
Yeah, for the whiff.
Yeah.
But it's funny because the end of turn Price of Progress obviously is going to whiff here, assuming that things go according to plan for Mekaroun. The problem here is that he needs to draw a Fire Blast to actually get the game over with. You see an Emrakul drawn here for Wilkerson.
Yep. And so if Tyler does have the Dream Halls, he does have the City of Traders, and that is a 5 total mana to be able to cast the Dream Halls, plenty of blue mana to be able to get all the things that he needs. He might not have the Enter the Infinite that he needs, however. There are a lot of pieces that he needs, and if you only have the Dream Halls as opposed to the Omniscience, you need enough blue cards in your hand to be able to cast them all as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the frustrating part about the Omnitel deck. It does have the ability to just win immediately when it does go off, but it's a three-card combo as opposed to a 2-card combo, and that's the difference between the two decks. Sneak and Show is a little more resilient, all of those things, and there's some resiliency here with Omnitel, but you need 3 cards to go off, and the Dream Halls kill is not particularly easy to do. You have to have, a certain number of blue cards to be able to go off. So.
Yeah, I think that Tyler's counting up what he needs here. He does have a copy of Firemind's Foresight in his sideboard, which can then turn into 3 cards, including Intuition, which will be able to get him the Enter the Infinite to be able to combo off.
Oh, he just has to play Island and pass the turn back.
Decides to play the Island. He doesn't feel as though he's under enough pressure that he needs to go off this turn.
Yep.
He's also seen the Price of Progress, so he doesn't want to make that card live, so he just decides to go with the Island.
What Mekaroun can do this turn is he can play Price of Progress for the whiff, untap. If he draws a Fire Blast, it's probably over, actually, because then he draws Fire Blast, he activates Lavamancer, there's 2 cards in the graveyard with Bolt and Price of Progress, that puts him at 4, and then the Fire Blast puts him at 0, so what's he draw? He draws a Mountain.
I don't think that Tyler had a Force of Will in his hand, and he does have a counterspell on his sideboard, but it is Pact of Negation, and that's not going to be good enough with only the 4 islands in play. But instead, Anousith decides to attack with the Grim Lavamancer, dropping Tyler to 5, and then Sulfuric Vortex comes down to put Tyler to 3 on his upkeep.
Yeah, he gets a turn.
Yep, it's now or never.
Yep.
Probably now.
It better be now. It's another blue card. We'll see how that affects things with Dream Halls.
He is going to have 6 mana this turn, so he will be able to Brainstorm as well.
Yeah.
Putting back 2 of the colorless cards in his hand, the Flooded Strand and the Emrakul.
I think that blue card may have locked it, right? Because he plays Dream Halls, and then he goes he play Cunning Wish for free.
I think that he has Entered the Infinite as well, though.
If he has Enter the Infinite in his hand, he's just dead.
Or no, that's a Quicken.
Yeah.
I misidentified the art. That's the one of Quicken in Tyler Wilkinson's deck.
Because he can go remove Cunning Wish to cast Enter the... No, why am I thinking Enter the Infinite's not a fetchable card? I apologize.
It's all right. He can, however, get the Intuition to be able to fetch
up
3 copies
That's what I'm
of Enter the Infinite.
So he obviously needs a critical mass of blue cards to be able to do this.
There is Dream Halls, a Power Cube favorite among streamers because they all love drafting the Storm deck.
I don't. I think it's stupid.
You don't?
Yeah.
You prefer
I think it's stupid.
mono white creatures and Lake of the Dead? Is that your style?
I prefer monocolored creatures or all the ramp money can buy.
That's right. And so Dream Halls, not in a cube format, in constructed, as a matter of fact, here in the Legacy Open, is going to be able to cast Cunning Wish after Tyler discards Quicken. He's going to go get the Intuition.
So, okay, this is really interesting because Tyler has to kill him on this turn. He has to release the ants on this turn and kill him because if we play an Emrakul, then he gets another turn and then Sulfuric Vortex kills him.
Yeah.
So he has to kill him this turn. So he's going to cast Intuition. He's going to get 3 cards. There's going to be 3 copies of Enter the Infinite.
So 3 copies of Enter the Infinite are going to go into Tyler's hand.
Now, he should be able to get the job done here because now he's going to have his entire deck in his hand. Assuming he has on the blue card, he draws his entire deck. That means he has all of his wishes. He can wish to bounce things because he'll be able to put Omniscience into play and the wish to bounce things, and then he'll be good to go. So I'm pretty sure we've got the check mark here on Wilkerson's side, but we're going to watch it play out. Yeah, and there's the blue card he needs to remove.
There's the blue card. There's the Enter the Infinite.
Give me this.
And now he can just cast an Omniscience and not worry about discarding blue cards anymore.
Yep. He puts Emrakul on the bottom because he does not need to use that. And now he's got his whole deck in his hand, which is just the most fun feeling in the world.
It's very tough to lose from that point.
Are you sure?
I'd have to do the math once again.
Okay.
But
all right.
I'm fairly certain that once he has his entire 55 or 45 cards remaining, it's going to be tough to lose. He's going to go get the Release the Ants, and he has to put the Omniscience into play now so that he can cast the red spell, and there it is.
Die!
And now he's covered in ants.
Die!
So Anousith was able to deal 19
19's a lot. That's a lot.
That's
19 is a lot of damage.
19 is a lot of damage, but Tyler was able to deal 20 of red burn damage.
I've dealt 19 a lot in my day.
Have you?
Playing bad aggressive decks. Yes, I have. I've dealt 19.
It always feels easier to deal 19.
It really does. And then you're always looking back in the game saying, what did I do wrong?
Right.
Where did I miss point damage? I didn't. I
Right.
didn't miss point damage. I just died.
No, I just cast a bunch of lightning bolts and chain lightnings to 3/3/3/3/3, and then they used one fetch land,
Yep.
and so they went to 1.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be able to go to the sideboards now with Tyler Wilkerson in comfortable territory, a place he's been a lot this weekend, up a game.
Yeah, I mean, this matchup
match.
is so good for him too. Now the sideboard here for Mekaroun, he's got 2 Ensnaring Bridge, 2 Mindbreak Trap, 4 Pyroblast, 2 Pyrostatic Pillar, 2 Smash to Smithereens, and 3 copies of Fairy Macabre. There are actually some useful cards here. Trap is okay. It's not great, but it's fine. 4 copies of Pyroblast are great. And then 2 Pyrostatic Pillars are actually pretty good too, because you have to cast Release the Ants, and you will take damage to that every time. Now, that's not the only way they have to win, and of course, when they have their deck in their hand, they can just wish for Echoing Truth, mount your Pillar, and then get back to killing you. So that's not the best way to go about winning, but if you do play a turn 2 one of those, while they are cantripping around with Brainstorm and Ponder, they'll have to pay the price to do that, and that's kind of why Pillar will be good. But Pillar isn't the end-all, be-all. I wouldn't want to see Anousith keep a card based around Pyrostatic Pillar being in his hand.
Yeah. Anousith is sort of in weird spots with the cards he has in his sideboard, because Pyrostatic Pillar is good while it's in play, but it's not in play for very long when your opponent has their deck at their disposal. Mindbreak Trap is a good card to be able to try and counter some of Tyler's spells, but he needs for Show and Tell and the Enter the Infinite to be the second and third spells cast in a turn. He needs a cantrip to be cast before them, so that he can counter the Omniscience. Or I'm sorry, the Enter the Infinite. Over on Tyler's side of things, I have 3 words for you.
3?
They are Leyline
I know
of
what they
Sanctity.
are. I know what they are.
And that is pretty much the extent of what we're going to see out of Tyler's sideboard here.
Yeah.
He does have 2 copies of Defense Grid, not really for anything except for Force of Will, but he does have 4 copies of Leyline of Sanctity, particularly good against a deck full of deal X damage to target somethings.
This is Patrick Sullivan's least favorite card, I think, in Leyline of Sanctity. And I think, unfortunately, as I mentioned at the top, and we've talked about this is a very bad matchup for Mono Red Burn, and it doesn't get any better after sideboard. Sure, the cards that, Mekaroun does have access to, in Mindbreak Trap and Pyroblast and Pyrostatic Pillar, those cards are all sweet, and they have some functionality in this matchup, but he has no card that even pales in comparison to Wilkerson having Leyline of Sanctity. And while I'm not the biggest fan of mulliganing for ley lines, this is actually a ley line that he can mulligan for and flat win the game with.
Yep. Anousith has been doing well in this tournament, partially because Leyline of Sanctity has fallen out of favor. People don't really want it anymore because True Name Nemesis decks are more of a thing, and so they don't necessarily need to fight him to Torok as much.
Yeah.
And so this is likely the first Leyline of Sanctity he's seen all day.
Yeah, I mean, it's very likely. And again, as you mentioned, it's a card that's not seeing a ton of play anymore. Omnitel is not even a deck that sees a lot of play anymore.
Right.
So this is a deck that actually does use Leyline of Sanctity quite well. You could argue that, maybe it's still supposed to be in the sideboard, but this card is so hard for Omnitel to beat that it's definitely worth having it in the deck. And yes, there are circumstances that do arise where, you don't draw a Leyline in your opening hand, but it is your first draw step. Ha, ha, ha.
Right.
So it can certainly backfire on you, but when it's good, oftentimes it's great, and this is a matchup where it's great.
Yep. 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Chain Lightning, 4 Rift Bolt, 4 Lava Spike, Grim Lavamancer, among other things, that will require a target.
Now, I have seen Mono Red beat a Leyline of Sanctity before. It's only happened like once.
What does it involve?
Just Goblin Guide Goblin Guide.
Sure.
Period.
It involves probably turn 1 Goblin Guide and then several Flame Rifts.
Yeah, it involves you drawing a high density of Goblin Guides and Flame Rifts and then not drawing anything else.
It probably also involved Price of Progress.
Yeah, I mean, that'll work, but not in this matchup.
Not in this matchup.
Yeah.
This is a nightmare scenario for Anousith, where one of his best burn spells is not even that good, so he has to take them out.
Yeah, Price of Progress is almost a reason to play this deck, especially when Blue-Red Delver is one of the best decks, if not the best deck in the format, and they have no basics.
Yep.
So, Pop actually is a good reason to be playing Burn right now. But again, when he's playing its Omnitel, and this shows the diversity of Legacy, your Price of Progresses are not so good.
Yep, only about 4 non-basic lands that are going to remain in play. He also has the 4 fetch lands, the 4 Flooded Strands that we saw.
Oops.
And there's the Leyline of Sanctity that we were referring to. We'll pop that up on the screen for you. That is the Leyline of Ivory Mask. For
Ring
those
the
of
bell.
You older players who remember Ivory Mask, you gain Shroud.
Ring the bell. Throw in the towel. What's another cliche?
Stick a fork in him,
Yes.
he's done.
There it is. There it is.
And as a mono red burn deck, he might have a fork somewhere in his red box at home.
I'll give it to you.
All right,
That plays. I'll give it to you.
That's like a C. Is it like a C plus?
It's like a C minus.
All right, I'll take it.
I'll give it to you.
I'll take what I can. Anyway, Tyler has a turn 1 island after Anousith uses a fetch land to get his mountain at end of turn.
Anousith, draw Goblin Guide, my friend.
Yep.
Draw it right now.
Many Goblin Guides, many Sulfuric Vortexes, and many Flame Rifts.
Yes.
More than one of each are going to be necessary here. And I see Fire Blast, I see Lava Spike, and I see Lightning Bolt.
Oh, my God. He's just going to... You know what? I respect Wilkerson for this. I'm going to end your misery right now.
Yep.
I'm just going to get it over with. Turn 1 Leyline, turn 2 Show and Tell, put Omniscience in. You guys can't see Patrick Sullivan's face off camera. It's real red because just end the suffering. Completely respectable.
Yep. When you have the turn 2 win, like what's he going to do?
Yeah.
Play around Pyroblast?
Yeah, no, just let's go.
Yeah. And so he's going to play Intuition off of his Omniscience, getting 3 copies of Enter the Infinite. Anousith does get to pick which copy of Enter the Infinite goes to Tyler's hand, which I don't think is going to matter too much.
There's still some interaction to be had.
There is a little
here.
bit of interaction in this matchup,
I'd forgotten
despite having Shroud and a turn 2 show.
Counter speed. Oh, bolt.
He's going to bolt
I
myself.
like this. This is good. This is good. Bolt myself.
I die on my terms.
Bolt myself. Force will.
Oh, Force of Will.
Fire blast myself.
Force of Will.
Yeah.
Countering
Instead of the hand.
the Fire Blast. That was some nice little gamesmanship at the end there. I appreciate it. But in the end, they're going to fill out the match slip, even though both players know that this match was not particularly in the Burn player's favor.
I would say so.
Yeah, so in the fight of red versus blue, blue has won this round. Tyler Wilkerson moves to 7-1. That's about 20-2 on the weekend, I would say.
Now look, coming into this tournament, maybe this isn't the guy that you thought would be would be attacking Jerry Thompson's ground. But this is not a known face who we're starting to get to know right now.
Absolutely, and he's a ton of fun. I don't know if you've been seeing any of the coverage photos.
Yeah,
but
I have.
His championship winning photo where he's like sort of, check out this trophy I got. He's a ton of fun to be around, and he's playing very tight Magic too. I did a couple of written feature matches. He won what was considered to be a very difficult finals match earlier this morning in the finals of the Standard Open. His 2 matches on camera haven't been particularly difficult for him, but you're going to need some buys to be able to win a tournament. You need to have things break your way.
Yeah, I mean, this is a deck that it's a very unforgiving deck, like, especially when things are going your way. And, you see Show and Tell and Omniscience, that means you're dead.
Yep.
The game is over immediately. You also had the ley line, too, so there was no coming back here. But Wilkerson, again, he is going to have the opportunity to take down Jerry Thompson's, title that he's